Hi, everybody. So in this video, we're going to do Module 48. And just so you know, Module 48, right before it, is a really helpful little table called an Elasticity Menagerie, which makes it sound much more fun than it really is, I think. But I think that it is a really helpful table. So if you need like a quick one-stop spot, I would say just take a screenshot or take notes on what that little page is, because it's pretty helpful. It tells you everything you need to know. Module 48, let's see, check your understandings. Now, some of these problems are ones that we actually already did in the practice problem set. I'm still going to go through them with you, but you can probably skip ahead if you notice that they're basically the same problems. And anytime it says midpoint method, again, just as a fair warning, we don't use the midpoint method in this class. Just do the percent change like I taught you, new minus old over old. Chelsea's income goes from 12 to 18, and her purchases of CDs go from 10 to 40. And so what's her income elasticity of demand? So we can sit and calculate this like income elasticity of demand, and we can say 18 minus 12 over 12, and then 40 minus 10 over 10. And so this would be 3, and then this one would be 1/2, which is equal to 6. So 6 is her income elasticity of demand. Number 2 is the price of margarine goes up 20%. Manufacturers of baked goods increase their quantity demanded of butter by 5%. What's the cross price elasticity between the two? So we would say positive 20% for the margarine, price of margarine. Sorry, my handwriting there. Price of margarine. And then quantity of butter goes up by 5% quantity of butter. And so we could say that that one is positive 0.25. And that tells us that because they're positive, that there are substitutes. And I think, again, that one was also in the problem set. Using the midpoint method, again, we're going to ignore that part and just do it. When the price per hour rises of supply of whatever that is, web design, on the internet, who uses that? So let's see, that the price goes from 100 to 150. So I always knock the zeros off. I think it's a lot easier. So that's going to be the dollars. The number of hours goes from 300,000 to 5. So let's just go from 3 to 5. Like, why, right? Why do the textbooks do that? It's crazy. 5 minus 3 over 3. So that's 2/3 over 1/2. And that's 4/3, which is equal to 1.33 repeating. And so because it's greater than 1, we would say it's elastic. So because it's greater than 1. All right, multiple choice. Let's tackle these. Number 1. For a cross price elasticity between two goods being negative, this means that the two goods are, and so I just remember this, but you can also just think through it. If like the price of hot dog buns goes up, right? And the price of and then the quantity of hot dogs we would think would decrease. So those two things would be complements, right? In that sense. So we would say, like, if it's negative, when we say, like, the price of one goes up and you buy less of the other thing, then those two things would be complements. So thinking through like these can be helpful. Number 2, if Kylie buys 200 of X when her income's 20,000 and 300 of it, oh my gosh, there's so many zeros. Her income elasticity of demand using all right. So again, ignore the midpoint method. Let's just tackle this one out here. So we'd say her income goes from 20 to 25, and her 200 to 300. So we'll just say, again, 3 minus 2 over 2. Why do we have to make this so hard? 1/2 over, and then that's 5 over 20, which is 1/4. So 4 times 1/2 is 2.0, and we'll just say that that's E. And again, the midpoint method answer will not be that, but that's fine. For the quiz, I am going to make it clear, like, don't use the midpoint method, just do it like this. Number 3, the income elasticity of demand for a normal good is just a positive number. So let's see if that's in here. It is D. Number 4, perfectly elastic would be horizontal line. So that's D again. And number 5, which of the following leads to more inelastic price elasticity of supply? So this is not a concept you have to know for this class. 100% that question will not appear on a quiz. I can tell you the answer, and it happens when you have inelastic supply. It means that it's hard to ramp up production of it really quickly. And so let's think about like the answers here, and you probably could come up with the answer yourself. The use of inputs that are easily obtained. Well, if they're really easy to obtain, then you can't ramp up production quickly in response to changes in price. So one is not true. A high degree of substitutability between inputs. That's basically the same thing as statement one. It's saying you can swap out inputs easily. But think about like oil, right, and making gasoline. Well, it's really hard to swap out the inputs for those things. They can't just immediately overnight double the amount of oil production and have it show up at the gas station. There's lots of other inputs, the machinery and the refineries and all that stuff. So two is not correct. A short time period in which to supply the good, that would cause it to be very inelastic, because in the long run, right, even an oil refinery and an oil company could increase their quantity supplied in response to higher prices. But in the short run, if you give them a week, they can't bring more oil to market just, like magic. So correct answer is 3, only C. And again, that question will not appear on the quiz, but it is kind of helpful to think through. And if you like economics, if this is kind of geeking out for you, it's a neat idea. So let's do free response number 2, and then we'll get on out of here. Let's see. Assume the price of corn goes up 20%, causes suppliers to increase the quantity of corn 40%. Calculate the price elasticity of supply. So plus 40 over plus 20 is equal to 2. So that's A. In this case, is it elastic or inelastic? Well, it's bigger than 1, so it's elastic. C, draw a correctly labeled graph of a supply curve illustrating the most extreme case of the category of elasticity you found. So perfectly elastic is what they want us to draw. Price, quantity, so it's elastic, so it's a horizontal line, and we're talking about supply. What would be true of the availability of inputs for a firm with the supply? So again, the availability of inputs thing is not going to appear on exams, but this is the idea that it's pretty easy for them to change the quantity, right? That's literally what our graph is saying, is that they can change the quantity any day, all day long, and they could go from very small quantity to very large quantity pretty easily. So it must be that the inputs for whatever this product are relatively straightforward to produce. So we could just say easy to obtain. And it does want an explanation, and we could just say because quantity can change a lot. I know that that's not very technical, but you could just say like because quantity can change a lot. All right, hopefully this helps you. I'll see you next time. Bye now.